You ready?
Okay. Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast all about Christmas stories. I'm your host, Laura Ryan.
Thanks for that. Got it. We're recording. All right, 3, 2, 1.
All it takes is one bad day. You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This is not my home. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon.
Why aren't you laughing? From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I am your host, Ryan Lauer. The Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcast, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network that has a whole list of other Bat-related shows that also, like Peter Verra, love to frolic into other nerdy
Nobody
subjects.
frolics. No one's frolicking.
All the time. There's a lot of frolicking all over. It's Christmas time. Everybody frolics. Thank you for listening to episode 134, Wanted, Santa Claus, Dead or Alive. Now, joining me for this episode, you just heard his voice. He is Gotham's own Santa Claus. No, not Max Schreck. It's Peter R. Verra. Peter, welcome, you big holly and jolly man, to the show. You frolicker.
Oocious mother lovers. What's going on, Ryan?
It gotten you here. There's been a lot of Peter Verra with the Batman Book Club the past couple months.
Suck it, haters. I'm
Yeah.
not going anywhere. I'm here to stay.
The Christmas gift. You know,
Yeah, buddy.
give to everybody. So, are you feeling the Christmas spirit? This is a Christmas episode, Pete.
This is shitter's full right here, boys.
Yeah, love it. Last year was the Batman Adventures like holiday special with the great Jay Yaws. The year before that was Batman Noel with JJ Hodges. So like, as long as
So do you only do like Christmas one episode, or is it like Christmas month?
Just one. Wow, somebody doesn't listen to the Batman Book Club.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you changed it up this year.
Halloween.
You were like, I know Halloween is your big thing there.
Halloween month, yeah. There's enough stories, which you and the other Bat Boys come on. So it's a whole month adventure. But Christmas, I just feel like let's just go, just doing one. But Pete, I know you're learning all about what I do on the Batman Book Club, even though you're basically the co-host. But whatever. I'm glad you're here. You're a gift. Come early, and this is an exciting pick that we have to talk about.
Yeah, I didn't know this story existed until I bought this this leather-bound book here. So I'm excited. This is I've only read it once, and I hardly knew about it. So
okay, well, we're gonna get into the details. Let's just crack open let's make it seasonal. Let's hop into Santa's toy bag and talk Wanted, Santa Claus, Dead or Alive. This is written by Denny O'Neil, the incomparable Denny O'Neil, illustrated by an unknown Frank Miller and Steve Mitchell. It was part of the DC. So some titles here get mixed up, I think, a little bit, because technically, I guess it was part of the DC Special Series number 21, released in 1979 physically. But the front cover of that says Superstar Holiday Special. The book was reprinted and re-released in Christmas with the Superheroes in 1988. How about that? It's available. Well, good luck tracking down one physically. It's available on Comixology. You can buy it digitally. The Christmas with the Superheroes. The original story of the DC special series. That's on DC Universe Infinite. But Peter and we have this excellent leather-bound collection from Longmeadow Press. It's a Frank Miller, the complete Frank Miller Batman. And the second story, the first story is Batman Year One. The third story is Dark Knight Returns. And right there, smack dab in the middle, is Wanted, Santa Claus, Dead or Alive. So, Pete, you've kind of already shown your hand, but which version of this story did you read?
I read the physical leather-bound version.
Yes. Excellent. I did too initially, but I actually got onto Comixology and bought this Christmas with the Superheroes because I want to include it in this special is Justice League story, Teen Titans, Legion of Superheroes, a Superman story, and then a Neil Adams Batman story from Batman number 219.
That sounds like a solid holiday issue.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's something the DC still does to this day. They do seasonal holiday issues. So
yeah, so this was just a collection of others, like of previously released, and then they followed it up. It looks like the Christmas with the Superheroes number 2 in 1989, and that one blasts on the cover and says all new, and so like names attached to this are Dave Gibbons, Andy Cooper. And then it just goes to, Ty Templeton and stuff. Okay. So that's one I have not read yet at the time of this recording.
Do you buy many of the holiday specials?
I used to buy them when they released them each year.
Because they still do it for like Halloween.
For a while. I don't remember seeing one for Halloween this year. And I don't know that they did one.
Usually they do one for Valentine's Day too.
Yeah, they did last year.
I'm very selective with them. Sometimes they're expensive. They're like $8 sometimes,
Well, you buy Urban Legends, so what would this is nothing.
Yeah, well, because I buy all the Batman titles, I gotta be selective.
That's true. All right. Touche. Pete, when was the first time that you read this story?
Yesterday.
Yeah,
no, I bought this specifically because I wanted it's a cool companion to my Joker Stack Deck Edition, which is like the greatest Joker stories of all time. So like I thought that was cool. I didn't know there was like this hidden gem of a Frank Miller Batman. And it's like you said, the cover's kind of misleading because I originally thought Frank Miller wrote this. Because like why else would it be in the complete and it doesn't seem like Frank Miller's art style either. So you just think he wrote it, right? Like that was my first impression. But no, it is Denny O'Neil. But the first time I read this was yesterday.
Mine was in 2020 because the story is very similar to yours. I actually didn't even know that this story existed, and I didn't I wasn't searching through DC Universe to find it or anything like that. And I too have the Stack Deck Longmeadow Press book, which I love. I think it's awesome. And then I just kind of found out about this collection. And so when I would check it there for a while on eBay, they were, very few were on sale and some are really rough condition and yet still really expensive. And I'm well, no, not going to do that. And I finally found one that was actually like relatively, it might've been like 20, maybe $25, and it's in pretty excellent condition. So I feel like I got a steal on Amazon with that.
I feel like I paid a similar price to you when I bought it. Mine didn't look so good either, but you know what I did? I I went to the automotive section of Target and I bought leather wipes for your car. And now it looks really great. It looks very glossy. Like it looks pretty brand new.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
If you have a leather bound hardcover and you want it to look a little nicer, I would recommend doing that. Because leather's leather. It doesn't matter if it's a book or a car. And it gives it. My book has a nice shine to it.
It's shining here. I can't even make eye contact with it. It's too bright.
It's kind of funny.
It's like the star from the nativity scene in the story we're going to talk about. On the back of mine, I still have the sticker, like a silver sticker to match. You do too? Yeah. And it says $29.95 genuine bonded leather. So I actually 30 years later, I bought it, $5 or $10 cheaper than it originally cost, and it was released in 88.
It pays to buy used books.
It does. So yeah, this is overall the collection's pretty awesome. And then lastly, Pete, why Wanted, Santa Claus, Dead or Alive?
Because it's holiday season. Doof dee doo.
There you go. Well, I think when did you buy
that's
this?
pretty much it.
When did you buy that book?
Ooh, maybe within the year or two.
That's what I thought. It had to be like really early this year because you and I talked about it as soon as you got it. And we talked about this story in the middle.
This episode's been in the works.
I was going to say for like 10 months or 11 months, Pete has had dibs on the Christmas episode this year.
Yeah.
So there you go.
As soon as I bought it, because I was like, oh, wow. I was like, did you guys know Batman fought Santa?
Yeah. Well, so to kick it off, though, with the story. So, yeah, like you said, I mean, what a matchup here. I think this is definitely a historical story for both Batman and Frank Miller, because this is the first published Batman work by Frank Miller. I don't know, as far as splitting up art duties, what all that entails between Frank Miller and Steve Mitchell. I'm unfamiliar with the name Steve Mitchell. Take away my Bat fan card, but I'm unfamiliar. So that poor guy, got the raw end of the deal. Miller went on to do some pretty decent things with himself, and he and Denny O'Neil, like, you can look it up and talk about the stories of how, it's coincidental here that they're both working on a DC story, and this is while Miller was, I think, he was beginning his art duties on Daredevil, okay. And then I think Denny went over to Marvel like not long after this, where he and Miller both were working. He gave Miller writing duties on Daredevil at that point, and then Denny was back over at DC and brought Miller back over to DC. Like, there's some kind of great story I think Denny O'Neil told, maybe on an extra, before. You could read about it too, about running into him.
I bet you he told Haas.
Stuff, so he probably did.
I bet you he told Haas.
Release the Denny interview. Come on, Haas.
Yeah.
But the story, Pete, this is a short story, but I think we're still probably going to go almost like an hour,
because it doesn't feel like a short story. It feels very complete.
It does not feel like a short story.
Anything.
There's a lot of info in here, but while talking about Frank Miller, who's on the art, I want to bring up one thing though. Colored by Richmond Lewis. There is, I think it's kind of a mess, them reprinting for this collection, the color.
Like some things are kind of a little bit more yellow than you think they should.
It just, like, some of it just looks like a blob of like paint that just covers the character, the setting, an item, like
maybe like a filter,
not specific color. I mean, you go to that like first page of like Batman meeting Matty Lasco, like it just looks like some blobs, and this only became more apparent as I saw how it looked on DC Universe, and then how it looked buying this Christmas with the superheroes. The Christmas with the superheroes looks so recolored, and I've shown you, Pete, and I'll probably post this online, but like, so look at it. Yeah, it looks so much different and better. Stuff that I saw online,
certain pages look like they have a yellow filter.
Yeah, and it's kind of sloppy, and that's kind of, that's unfortunate. I found also images online, which I'm also going to show Pete. So this is doing great for a podcast, of like the, scans of like the original picture, which I actually really like. That looks like an older issue printing and stuff.
Neil Adams Batman, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I really appreciate that, but it's just kind of like, for this collection, it just looks very like,
yeah, I don't see any I don't remember seeing that issue with the Dark Knight Returns for some reason, which is only a few pages away. Or year one,
or year one,
which was, but I guess the 8-page rare to be seen story gets a little attention.
Which I feel like that would have been such a selling point for this too. Like, hey, this is Frank Miller's first Batman work, blah blah blah. But that is my only negative, and it's not artist's fault. It's not Denny O'Neil's fault. It's just whoever reprinted and included in here. It's just, it looks kind of messy.
Can we blame like Dan DiDio? He had to be in charge.
Oh, it's definitely Dan DiDio.
This is Dan.
No, you know who else? It was Jeff Johns' fault.
No, this is before Johns.
Well, how
this was like a preemptive
DiDio in '89? How involved was DiDio? This is printed in '89. How involved was he in DC? Okay, come on.
So it's got to be Julie Schwartz.
Okay, there we go. It's Julie Schwartz.
We're blaming Julie Schwartz now.
There, we've
We
reached it
never
now.
liked that Denny O'Neil.
Apologies to Didio and Johns. Okay, we found the real culprit here. Sure.
What I really liked about this story, Ryan,
Yes, Peter.
was how simple it was. It almost
Simple but
reminds,
complex.
because it almost reminds me of Bad Santa.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time because I don't really like that movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's basically about Santa Claus who wants to rip off the department store he works in, right?
I mean, he's literally, yeah, he's a bad Santa.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, like, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So it's got a little bit of that in there.
Okay,
And it's
following you
mafia
now.
oriented. It's mafia oriented. It's that kind of year one-ish Batman. It's got that feel to it.
Yeah.
That early on.
I just loved, I mean, first off, who are the main player names in this? Matty Lasco, Boomer Cats, Fats Morgan, Denny O'Neil, like Chef's Kiss on the great mob names.
Yeah. Fats Morgan.
That's awesome. Good old Fats Morgan. You know who he is. Old Boomer Cats.
I think Fats was spelled with a Z too.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Give us some more of that. In which I got some. So as the story opens up where Batman, he's on the hold on. I love like the opening writing just from Denny O'Neil, and now I kind of can't help but listening to the Batman audio adventures and just hearing a little Christmas Eve in Gotham, as in reading that open.
That's great. Wow.
Silent as a child's prayer, the Batman glides through the shadowed avenues. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. That's kind of delightful. A delightful sentence. Silent as a child's prayer. And it's a seed, that's planted right here at the beginning that we revisit. First panel, bookended by this, that somebody even stole Christmas or no, crime goes on. Somebody even stole the star from that nativity scene.
Gotham's a bad place, man.
I just watched Batman Brave and the Bold Invasion of the Secret Santas. And it just made me, because it's fresh in my mind, of Diedrich Bader's reading of crime doesn't take a holiday, and neither do I. Like, that's kind of how that goes. Christmas or no, crime goes on. But then he's on the move here to go meet good old Matty Lasco because he found a boat that Matty scheduled a boat to be waiting in Gotham Harbor. And he's like, what the hell's going on here?
I love this because it makes me think of Dark Knight and Maroni and the Batman and the Penguin. Like I was like, oh man, he's at the nightclub with the girl. Like, she's like, you want another drink, Mister Lasco? You want another gin and tonic?
You got it, Mister Lasco.
Double bourbon, okay.
She could do so at the end of this. So Batman takes out his goons, and then Lasco tries to punch him right in his abs, his 9-pack. And thud. And he's like, duh. And then he gives it up right away. I did it as a favor for an old cellmate of mine, Boomer Cats. And then you can almost see that same waitress when she comes back, of like when he's like, get lost, I don't feel like partying no more. You can almost feel her being like, talk about your cold shoulder.
Yeah, yes.
We watched too much Batman. But then so Batman now, he had a nugget, he's got a little info, so he's rolling with it. This is what Batman does. Like he's right
now he's just pure Batmaning, and that's great. Like,
fantastic.
Detective work, boom, pedal to the metal, let's go. We got things to solve in big bad Gotham.
It's Christmas, okay? Gotta go home to Alfred.
Yeah. So I've got to get home and unlight my tree.
So then we take a trip to Crime Alley. In which, I mean, is this the Salvation Army? Did you take it? I mean, otherwise it's like a homeless shelter. That's my impression.
Yeah.
He mentions Salvation
Soup
Army
kitchen,
later,
something like that.
But if you look at, so this is another case like I told you of. You get that shot overhead of the Christmas tree and people singing "God Yes You Married Gentlemen."
Yep.
And they're all eating and stuff. But I mean, look at this page of there's actual difference. I'm sorry, it's probably not good. There we go.
Yeah.
Of there's different colors here as opposed to in our collection where there isn't just much differentiating. Yeah, it's just blah. But anyways, good old, I mean, it's not Matches Malone, but might as well be Bruce undercover, which you don't know at first. And the one guy says, real tasty, almost as good as old Boomer's cooking. Hey, whatever happened to old Boomer anyway? You ain't heard? He got a job as a Santa Claus at Lee's.
Oh, he's over at Lee's department store where you get one toaster, buy one, get one free.
There's a half off sale, actually. It's Christmas Eve.
Off. Remember to shop with us and not Shrek's, because Shrek is a murderer.
Yes, exactly. Well, I got places to be, and so this guy, he's just off. But then, Missy, you take this and use it as you see fit, and hands an envelope to one of the I don't know if it's okay, sorry. Yeah, she's one of the volunteers because you see in that panel she's helping somebody. She's also too collected and good looking
in a French beret.
Homeless, and she opens it and it's $1,000. Into which then we switch the next page and we see it was Bruce Wayne all along. Look at Bruce. God, he's like Santa Claus. He's Gotham's own Santa Claus.
He's just afraid not. Expensive baubles.
So, he's putting it together, and there's only one reason a heist artist like Boomer Katz would get a job in a department store: to rip it off. So now it's starting to come together. Oh, I got to rip it off and take off to the harbor on the boat and get out. Bad Santa. Okay, it's a heist. We're turning into a heist. So he's like, I gotta get going. Meanwhile, we head to Lee's in Santaland, where Junie reminds her mom not to forget the dollhouse, or reminds the Santa not to forget the dollhouse. And
this is cool.
And the owner of Lee's, he tells good old Boomer of you're the best Santa we've ever had, Boomer. Why, thanks, Mr. Jackson. And then what a great just cutaway to, thanks a lot. As he's just wiping a tear, management was
Jackson. Ooh, I am for real.
Managers at retail must have been really tough in the 70s, that when one comes and compliments you like that, it just hits you with all the feels.
Well, I also feel like Boomer's used to being a low-life criminal and never really does an honest day's work, and now he's kind of, he's got a taste of the old civilian life.
He did.
And I think he kind of appreciates it. I think I kind of feel like it's more about Boomer just kind of, really turn it around, turn the cheek here. Cause eventually the double cross is a big part of the story. And Boomer is at the heart of that. So, we can see Boomer's softer side right here, but we meet his accomplice, who insists on asking him, did you disable the store's alarm system? So now we know Boomer is really, really in on it.
This has to be. So this is Fats Morgan. This has to be the look heavily inspired by Kojak's own Telly Savalas.
You sure?
If people, just a look. If you don't know who that is, which is completely okay, just go to Google and type Telly Savalas, and man, that's a great looking Telly Savalas. But anyways, he did. So he asked him if he disabled the alarm system, and as Pete and I we just discussed with old Boomer, he's turned it around, and he's like, I couldn't, Fats.
He's gone straight.
Why not, chump? Oh, I don't know. Everybody was so nice, and the kids made me feel so good and all. I just can't go back to being what I was. So he's got a little bit of Christmas spirit in him.
That's what I'm saying. Santa Claus has infected this guy with the candy cane vein.
Yep. And then we do it the hard way. Al, Louie, two other great supporting names. You come with us.
Did you read that? The old guy from Home Alone with the Tommy gun. Al, Lou, Big Mo with the crazy leg.
Oh my God. No, I didn't, but now and forever I will. Cheeks, bunny bags, Cliff. I could go on forever, baby.
Yes.
I just wanted the record to show you brought Home Alone into this before I did. So thank you, Pete. This is why we work so well together.
Yeah. Ooksis.
Ooksis Galactus Hezbollah.
Yeah, Hezbollah.
So Al and Louie with the gimpy leg.
Lou with the gimpy leg. It's fun.
It's so great.
That voice.
It is.
1, 2, 3.
Yes. Al, Al, you was here and you was smooching with my brother.
Yeah. Oh, no, Mimsy. Wasn't me, see? Wasn't me.
No, Fats. I'm over the moon for you. So anyways, the three then take good old Santa Boomer to the back door of Lee's, in which Mr. Jackson opens the door. He's like, forget something, Boomer. Yeah, he forgot something. All right. Like, I can't. Denny O'Neil with these mobsters, like, you can't help but do like that, like, shit, in reading the stuff too. Nah, he forgot something. All right, you see.
Yeah, he forgot something. See, he forgot to disable your alarm. See, now we're taking my phone.
You forgot to grab Dave's receipts. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. They forced me. We're just doing a story reading, but that's fine. Whatever. But he needs like the receipts. It's becoming a whole like a theft, like whatever. And they get what they need, and then they're man, how sad. Like Santa Claus. It's just like, we don't need him anymore. Ice him. But Boomer, he gets on the defensive.
Yeah.
He throws just looks like like bells, jingle bells, maybe a whole setup of jingle bells. He takes one in the shoulder, but then he's gone. But good old Batman's outside.
Gunshots, I hear. I better investigate.
If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. And he just gives no F's, just blasts through the window, crashes through, and he just starts swinging at I think probably Al. And then
at one point he's throwing mini Christmas trees. It's great.
That's awesome. I love that.
Which makes me think of Shazam when Zachary Levi goes, "Get him, Batman!"
Yeah,
it's like having like flashbacks.
Good pull. That's awesome. Yeah, it's all connected, Peter, with Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
I love that because then Mr. Jackson even says Batman, the other one, and yeah, he does. And O'Neil writes it great. It is something wonderful to see. With an absolutely fluid grace, the Batman continues his circular motion and throws and scores. And you get to see that of his like spin move, throw trees.
Shakespeare as Batman. Amazing. Throwing Christmas decor in a department store.
It's something wonderful to see. And you know what? It is something wonderful to see. I love it. There's throwing a whole Christmas tree.
Yellow oval.
Yeah, how do you feel about that yellow oval?
I feel
here we go. Let's take a time out here. How are you feeling on Miller's first design of Batman? Which him and Steve Mitchell, I should say.
I dig it because this feels very like DC in-house. Like it feels like this is a standard Batman art of the time. Mm-hmm. There's like if you put this in front of me and said who drew this, I would not have guessed Frank Miller. I also don't know how much of this Frank Miller. Some parts look more Frank Miller than others.
That's what I was gonna say. When you get a little bit more. So
I feel like early on in the story, the cocktail waitress felt very Frank Miller-y.
Towards the end on the last page. When the light's shining on Batman, like that looks very Dark Knight Returns Batman, as far as like the way that the cowl is shaped and like with the light and stuff. So that I see Frank Miller, but then like you said, and looking at other stuff feels in-house Batman of at the time,
I'm very curious as to
how much underwear, blue cowl, blue cape, all that, in gray. It looks, I don't know, because like a standard Batman.
I remember like even like within like the same page, like I can say like certain parts look like certain panels look like Frank Miller and some don't.
Yeah.
Like I need some confirmation because I can't tell it all.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I don't like the artwork. I think the artwork is great. Like I enjoy the story thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the art's pretty I think they do a good job of trying to mimic each other's like style in a way, so it's like this interesting hybrid.
Yeah. What can I think of which cover it is? So I felt a little Frank Miller vibe on that page that we were on where Batman says, where's Boomer Cats, and Mr. Jackson, said, he said he ran out back about a double cross. They said something about a double cross and gun to Boomer's head, and they're hiding somewhere.
Mhm.
And then they're back in front of the nativity scene where 2 police are. And, looks like they got the hassle at the department store cleared up, Lou. And hey, isn't that the Batman over there? And when it cuts over to that Batman with the cowl up, pulling a Dracula pose, that to me, some reason, seems a little Frank Miller. And then I can't think of which
it seems very year one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that's not Frank Miller. That's a Frank Miller story, but for a different artist. What's his name?
Klaus Janson.
Yeah. No, who year one was
Mazzucchelli, duh.
Mazzucchelli. That's it. I can never pronounce it right. $7, little man. Put that shit in my hand.
In my hand.
But that's what I think is. I think year one, and
that's a good call.
I think the hardcover year one because he's doing that pose.
I was thinking the Batman #9 cover. That's him and Robin caught in the spotlight, and Batman's got the cowl up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Okay,
in which no, not exactly the same. It's just that's that pose, that up, and everything. That's just a little bit what I think. So,
I definitely got more year one vibes, but I get what you're saying.
I think we're both correct. So now they can't find.
We both can't be correct. One of us has to be Rick Shue and be right.
I think I'm correct.
Okay, so you're Rick.
So I think that. I'm trying to figure out which one. So it can't be Telly Savalas. It had to be Lou or Louis.
Okay.
With the gimpy leg because he's got the glasses. No,
Lou with
both
the
have
gimpy
glasses. Maybe Al. He's got Boomer, and they're hiding. Can't come out until the police leave. And Batman and Mr. Jackson can't find him, and so they end up going and talking to the police. And
this is the Garrett portion of the book. By the way,
they're like, yes, enter the Grev portion. And the police are like, all right, well, we'll be on then. And then a bright light. And Batman's caught with that light. This is the star. So that's the panel right there where he says the star that I think, there's a Dark Knight Returns. Like it just makes me think of a panel in Dark Knight Returns.
Okay, I hear you.
But now we're back at the nativity scene. Remember where somebody even stole that star. But it's shining now. It's back. It says the missing star. It's back, and its rays are pointing here, and it's pointing right down at where Boomer and
the Batman strikes.
And the Batman strikes. And he says, "You okay, Boomer?" "Yeah, fine. Only that star, it's gone again.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Gone home, Boomer. To give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace." Luke 178. Anyways. The end. Yeah, so Peter, this star was missing, but it returned to help save a life.
A Christmas
and then it disappeared again. A Christmas
in dreary
miracle.
Gotham City.
Yeah. In
one
Gotham
man's
City.
life in the hands of the Batman.
Yes.
Can he deliver the ultimate gift and deliver him to safety? You just had me thinking.
You had me. You had me. I'm here. I'm with you. So
and then Kenan Thompson's Commissioner Gordon pops up. What's up?
Yeah, who sounds like Kenan Thompson from Kenan and Kel in 1995.
He's the only bad thing about that podcast is he's totally miscast.
Yeah, I think he's miscast too. Sorry, Kenan. But that's the story. I read this 3 times because
it's solid, man. It's only 8 pages, but it's heavy.
It's quick enough, but yet also has enough information for you to kind of like absorb and take a second to kind of like make the connection of, okay, we got a Matty Lasco set up a boat in the harbor for his old boy Boomer, who's in cahoots with Fats, but Boomer's Santa Claus. He doesn't want to do this anymore because he's turned his life around, but Fats calls Al and Lou with the gimpy leg to come help him take out Boomer.
Yeah.
Boomer's putting up a fight. Enter Mr. Jackson. Ooh, and here's the bat. Like, just follow that. It's like, wow, is that overstuffed?
That's a solid
Not at all.
Batman tale, man.
It is.
I mean, what else do you want? You've got street level criminals detective work, a cool ending.
Batman
it's a
throws
holiday
Christmas trees,
theme.
jingle
I have to
bells.
say, like, we got Batman throwing trees, bro.
And then, and then at the end, of course, and
He's watched way too many Pine Sol commercials.
I love that you
The
called it
power of Pine.
the Greb section, because it totally is this magical Christmas.
It is. Luke 1:16. Oh,
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
it brings me back to my altar boy days. I just want to like bust out in him.
Was it, as you were saying, it made me think of, like, I think it's Ace Ventura when nature calls. I was like, all right,
Bumblebee tuna, bumblebee tuna, bumblebee tuna,
bumblebee tuna. Shawshank Redemption.
Can we get into our the artwork portion of the book, like your favorite panels and stuff?
Yeah, unless you had more to say about.
No, I mean, I think track it down, find a way to read it. Like, if you haven't read this,
DC Universe has it. Comixology, if you don't have DC Universe Infinite, it's $1.99 for the issue. It's 100 pages on Comixology. Totally worth the $2. Totally worth the $2. Spare yourself. Yeah. I don't know. I'd almost say spare yourself that box of cereal, but no, don't do that. Don't get a coffee, or get a smaller coffee, and then use $2 and buy the issue on Comixology. It's worth it. But anyways, Pete, let's get into some Christmas favorites here, shall we?
Sure, let's go.
Let's frolic on our favorites. Ooh, I need to drop there. Frolicking on favorites. Pete, what's your favorite part of Wanted, Santa Claus, Dead or Alive?
Like
Dead or Alive.
Like my favorite artwork? Like my favorite panel? Is that what you mean?
No, your favorite part. That's where it comes into like the story and stuff. Yeah. So, like, what was your favorite section of the story?
I definitely, for me, it's the mafia breaking into the back the back area of the department store, and then Batman hearing the gunshot and crashing through the window. Like, that whole scene is like my favorite part.
Gotcha. Okay. I think mine is the Grab section, the ending, because Christmas, that's a total Christmas ending to something of the spirit of Christmas, the magic of Christmas, and the light returned to help save a life, and then it went away. Classic Christmas.
Yeah. How
about a favorite panel?
My favorite panel is the panel underneath where it's the page after we find out that it's Bruce Wayne in the soup kitchen and Batman swinging through the city in front of that gargoyle, the buildings behind him. Like, I love that panel of Batman just swinging through Gotham. Like, that's just really cool for me.
Excellent. I almost, no joke, I almost chose Boomer Santa Thanks a Lot, because I think that's greatly drawn. And even this coloring, they didn't botch the coloring. It looks better in the other versions, but they didn't botch the coloring here, and that's great. But for me, it's got to be the panel that is something wonderful to see. Batman in one motion throwing a Christmas tree.
That's fun.
I love it. I just love it. And that yellow oval, #Team Yellow Oval, is just, it is out there and pride and shining. It's fabulous.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Would you like to see this adapted in animation?
I don't know how you can adapt it. I feel like eight pages is maybe a minute. I don't know. I would love to if they could do it. I mean, Bruce Timm and James Tucker deserve all the respect in the world, and if they thought that this deserved an adaptation, I'd be all for it.
Great friend of the show, Tim Sheridan. He wrote quite a few, I think, episodes of Justice League Action. And a full-on episode of Justice League Action, I believe, was two mini episodes, maybe 3. I'm not exactly sure. I've only seen a handful of Justice League Action, but in that regard, I think you could do kind of like how they did with Holiday Nights. Let's go back even further. Holiday Nights was composed of 3 different stories. You could do that here, and one of them is this Christmas, like, just make it a whole Christmas episode with like 3 mini stories, and one of them is this. Like, that's how you do this.
I dig it. I'm with you. I'm
give some room to breathe for all the characters, but I don't know, you could do it between 6 to 8 minutes, this story.
All right, let's get it done. That's it. W Animation, you've been warned. Writing the script right now. Writing the script like James Gunn writing Superman.
Yeah, and then oh man, you would need a cameo of somebody in the soup kitchen singing and leading the singing of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Can't be Kanye.
He's blacklisted from the world.
Yeah,
he's not saying nice things.
I think Amy Grant. Amy Grant.
Why Amy Grant?
Because she's the queen of Christmas. I know Garrett is already on board with this.
It should be Mariah Carey.
I don't have. Listen, I like Mariah Carey's Christmas songs.
Amy Grant.
Amy Grant gets the lead here. Maybe I'll put out a poll on that. I'm like, who should make it?
That's a poll. That's your next poll. That's your next poll.
In Gotham, who should make an appearance at Christmas? Amy Grant or Mariah Carey?
It's Mariah Carey. I'm sorry, it's Mariah
Carey. I actually love this idea of nothing to do with the story or Denny O'Neil or Frank Miller. No. Let's create this weird situation.
Well, 'tis the season, you know?
Amy Grant or Mariah Carey? Come on now. And what if like this ends up being like the highest voted poll?
What if it goes viral and real people start voting on it? Like, no, screw Amy Grant, loser.
Fights. And then we actually have to have a discussion of like, no, let's debate this, okay? On the
what would you call
Amy Grant or Mariah Carey?
What would be the nickname for like the Amy Grant fan base? Like, what would you call them? Like Granties? But the Granties. Oh,
the Granties.
Like,
sure.
These, I don't know, like these Mariah, what are they like?
Granty goodness.
Granty goodness.
Granty goodness.
Granty goodness. These Mariah. I want to call them like, I want to relate them to like Nolan Nights somehow, like Mariah Nights. I don't know, the Mariah's Nights.
Granny goodness.
Mariah's Nights are so annoying on Twitter right now.
The Mariah Messiahs.
Mariah Messiah.
I don't know. Let's get that one going too.
So Amy Grant, Mariah Carey, Eric Holzman. Who do you think sings the best Christmas song? Because Eric sang on the live stream, so we have it on record actually.
Amy Grant.
That's good.
Sorry, Holzman.
Holzman's got all of Long Island vote for him. So
yeah, anybody who disagrees with me, send all complaints on Twitter at FinalE33.
Yes. Because Christmas all over
again. So, Peter, why don't you give me your final thoughts? Give the people what they want. Your final.
This story was great. It was fun. It was awesome. It was. Yeah. I've never read it, and I will. This will become my a welcome addition to my annual December Batman reading with Noel. Throw that in there with like Christmas with the Joker, even though it's a cartoon. Like
Christmas
the annual
with Batman Joker.
The annual Batman stuff. This is now a part of that rotation.
Yes, I knew about this story now for 2 years. You and I've been talking about it all this year, but I was looking up because I know that I've come across. There's like obviously Batman Noel. That's a Christmas time read. One of my favorite Batman stories of all time. Batman and Robin Adventures issue number 3 is a Riddler Christmas time story. I think it was Batman Annual number 1 had a Christmas section, a Christmas part in it, written by Tom King, art from Neil Adams. Is a Batman and Harley story. But then I was like, I know that there's more, and I actually went and looked online, and some people had composed some great lists of comic stories, and this was on all the ones that I came across. I actually tweeted it out. So go to Batman Book Club's Twitter account at the Batman BC. And I actually posted it semi-recently of a list of Batman comic book Christmas stories that pretty much all will be on DC Universe.
Thank you, Lauer, because I'm going to look for that list and I'm going to pick out things that I already don't have in my rotation.
There you go. There's one
doing
as far
sugar work
back. I don't know if it's.
Hopefully, I have some of them in the basement. You know.
Yeah, and your 41 long boxes.
It's a flex that I like to flex.
It's a flex you like to flex. Take that, Paul Herman.
Come out, read me, bitches.
But anyways, back to this story at hand. I think this is a great short story. It's got a lot. I totally get the vibe of this as Batman the Animated Series. You know, I don't know. It's great. Track it down however you can, and yeah, like I said, at most,
I can't imagine anyone disliking this story, to be brutally honest. Like, we got, who would really appreciate this? Eric Carter, because he loves seasonal readings.
he does.
He's a big seasonal guy.
He's
I
probably
think he would really
read it. I feel like he's had to have read
I
it.
hope so. He because
no, let's dial him in. Let's dial him in right now.
Let's call Eric right now. Let's call
the Batman Book Club. What do you think? First of all,
he's talking to Terrence and Phillip, and he's like, I don't accept collect calls from Canada. What's going on?
Well, first off, Eric, were you smooching with my brother? Second, have you read this story? But Christmas with the Superheroes, like I'm telling you on Comixology, $1.99. Not even kidding you.
What year was that?
Eric Carter just texted me. I'm not shitting you. No, it's Eric Carter. I'm not gonna read you what he said, but he just texted me. I didn't, and we're talking about this is weird.
Oh,
so
Eric doesn't text me.
He doesn't. Well, I'll give him your phone number and say you need to text Peter. He's feeling.
You do
sad.
that. You take care of that. Handle my business.
Anyways, Christmas with the Superheroes on Comixology. If you need to track that down, read this story. It's great. Perfect for this time of year. All that.
Love it.
Peter, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Ryan. Merry
what is
Ooxmas.
Merry there you go. Merry Ooxmas. That's for Michael Ramey.
Yes.
He'll really appreciate that. What's your dish of choice for Christmas?
I mean it's for Christmas Eve then. I'm a big
on Christmas Eve.
Fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I like squingeal.
Ooh.
I do 7 fishes, so I like, I'm a big sneeze conch guy.
Okay.
Conch.
We do a lot of almost like finger foods because our family get-togethers were the French flippers. Yes, we grab our French flippers.
A little French flipper action.
But anyways, we're so like in and out of rooms, gifts and doing whatever that it's like we don't have this. Everybody sit down for this big old feast. It's like we've got fresh turkey, fresh ham, and have stuff like that. So we're like in and out making sandwiches and stuff.
Like obviously we do the whole Italian Christmas Eve thing. So like multiple courses. I think the only real course that everyone sits down to eat is the pasta course. And then because some people don't like this fish, some people like that, some people want to save room for this later on, like third, fourth course. So like, like we kind of do like a crazy little spiel there.
Yeah.
So like everyone's kind of like the only time I think we're ever actually together is first course pasta. And then after that, it's kind of like a free for all. And then everyone's just yelling. You've got people playing beer pong in the back. And then, like this, they're out shotgunning over to the right. And then it's like, Dave's falling asleep already.
Your family knows what's up.
Well, it's gotten crazier since Barbara's kids have gotten older because now they're all in college. So they're all like, boy, we're all like, yeah, let's party. They're all like, me and Mike are in our 30s. So like, and then our younger cousins are in their mid-20s. So it's like they've kind of they've rejuvenated the recklessness of holidays, which is interesting. Like for 10 years we were kind of lame.
No, but not now.
By our standards.
And not now.
Now it's like
wild children.
Yeah, now we're partying with college kids again. It's like, oh God. We wish we were that young. It's like, oh God, you guys have no responsibility. You guys don't know how good you have it.
But maybe this year, gather everybody around and be like, Santa Pete has a story to read you all and read them. Well, no, I don't make them care. Withhold the food until
no, because I want
to
eat
the
it.
Story. Well, no, you get to you eat it. You get to eat it. But then hold it and read it.
So, and they so graciously the Batman throws the tree.
Matty Lasco, Boomer Cats.
Boomer Cats. Come what do you be like?
Yeah. You was here. Excellent. Well, Pete, thanks for being my little helper here on the Christmas episode for this.
Am I your elf? Or am I a reindeer? Am I an elf or a reindeer?
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
I think you want me to be your reindeer.
I'm Ed Asner and you're Will
I
Ferrell.
might dig shit outside.
There you go. I'm Ed Asner and you're Will Ferrell. Perfect. And you're taking a big old poop outside. Wonderful. Bringing all the goods to this discussion.
Like,
so
what happened to you guys on the episode? You were just crazy.
Pete started sipping some eggnog. You guys didn't see that, but
good old Grandma Esther's eggnog.
Grandma Esther's eggnog. She spikes that pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Pete. Having this discussion. Good book. And please tell all the fine folks about the many places that you are on these days, including the podcast you co-host with the champion of Long Island.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can follow me on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, Mastodon, and Zack Snyder's favorite platform, Verra, at Pete Illustrated. You can follow podcast number 1. That is the podcast where I mentioned that I co-host with the champion of Long Island, Eric, Final E33 Holzman. That's straight out of Gotham at straight _O_G on Twitter and Instagram. Check out our Facebook group and our Facebook fan page. It's really active right now with the news that broke just yesterday about James Gunn, Henry Cavill, all that stuff. So a lot of people having a lot of conversations. So join in on the fun there. Check out my number 2 podcast that I co-host with Chicago's finest, the champions of Wrigley Field. I only work with the best. I don't work with scrubs.
That's right.
Nicholas and Nico Caruso at Italians for Spidey on Twitter. That's the Italian Spider-Man Coalition podcast. Lots of good stuff going over there. Comics, movies, news, all that great jazz. So we try to do that once a month, God willing. Follow me at Team Yellow Oval. That's just a fun thing I do. Celebrating Keaton's return, everything Yellow Oval. We'll probably do a little thing on this at some point, but follow me there. Follow me on batmanonfilm.com and Batman on Film YouTube. I got stuff all over, from toy reviews to interviews to comic book reviews. And on Twitter, I love to bust my friends' balls, and it seems to be Haas's turn. So follow me there for those escapades, because he's nutty.
Haas is the chosen one.
Haas is the chosen one. I get a little couple vegan digs at Garrett every once in a while, but
yeah,
Haas has caught the twinkle in my eye lately.
he'll be really happy to hear all that.
He's already, he's been ignoring my texts. It's fine.
Oh, okay. And Pete wonders why people don't call him.
I know why.
Oh, okay. You're aware. Okay, perfect. Well, you can follow the Batman Book Club on Twitter, especially for that Amy Grant Mariah Carey poll at the Batman BC. You can also follow on Instagram at the Batman BC. Make sure to subscribe to the Batman Book Club YouTube channel, where me and Will Ferrell here, Buddy the Elf, are on there going road to no man's land, breaking down that omnibus. And
oh god, that's
Pete,
so much fun.
I think it's safe to say, Pete, that as we approach the ending of that, we're only just beginning. That's safe to say, right?
1 down, 2 omnibus to go.
Oh my god, here we go.
Oh, Batman.
If you have any questions or comments, concerns, go to Eric Holzman. You can email at thebatmanbc@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, there's a variety of ways you can do it. Number 1, go to patreon.com/thebatmanbc. Number 2, the TeePublic. Just go to tpublic.com, type TBBC for the Batman Book Club, and you'll find a whole bunch of merchandise that you can get with the Batman Book Club logo on it. But if you want to support the show and you don't want to spend any money at all, it's 100% A-okay. Easiest, most impactful, and quickest thing that you can do is rate and review the show wherever you listen to it. Apple Podcast, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, just go to the rate and review section, rate and review the show, because the more reviews it gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as we all know, the word is panic. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. For Peter R. Verra, I am Ryan Lauer. And until next time, open presents, drink eggnog, eat cereal, sing Christmas carols, and read my Batman comics.